Good morning, world. I'd like to welcome you guys to another rendition of Think About It Thursdays. Uh, you already know this one is not going to be a comical subject matter. Definitely not. Of course, we're discussing the events that took place. First of all, with Think About It Thursdays, for you who may not know, Think About It Thursdays is a platform that I'm utilizing to bring forth subject matters that may be on your mind, that has you thinking and has you pondering, and stuff that usually picks the brain. Overwhelming response from our audience is the shootings that took place. And I say shootings because right when we were getting ready to film the first Think About It Thursdays, we learned of another shooting that took place. So we're going to kind of discuss a little bit of both of them. As you all may know and have seen in the news, we're discussing the shootings that took place in Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And we're also discussing the shooting that took place in the car in Minnesota. Now, both are separate incidences, both are separate situations, both have some video footage. One incident has the actual shooting as video footage, the other incident has the aftermath of the shooting being video, the video evidence. Now, the only problem that I have with with what's going on is me personally, the way that I used to be. I used to be a strong believer. Eye for an eye, blood for a blood. You know, they kill ours, we kill theirs. And I've changed. I've become a changed man. I've given my life to Christ and stuff like that. And I don't have those sentiments. But I know a lot of people do. And it's easy to fall into that. The one thing I want everyone to remember is there's never been a time where violence has stopped violence. Name me a time, name me a situation where violence stopped violence. Like, how can that be? How can violence stop violence? I mean, you have to be violent to stop someone else from being violent, right? So that perpetuates the violence. So violence doesn't really stop violence. So that's to those who may have those feelings that I know that are festering inside because of all that you've seen and all that you've heard and everything that we're witnessing. You may want to rebel and react, but I want you to remember, violence has never really ever stopped violence. So think twice. Think of your livelihood and think of your families. Now, onto the situations that took place. With the video footage that I've seen, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a defense attorney. I'm not any attorneys. I'm not anything like that. But yes, the video does rub me the wrong way. It looks like you two officers had the situation mostly in control, especially at the point where he was pinned to the floor. I paid attention to watch one officer knee is actually on his arm, so that keeps him from either trying to reach or do anything. And I can't tell what his other arm is doing, but it's two officers on top of this gentleman. And I hear the officer tell him, "You move again, I swear to God." And he finishes what he's about to say. In other words, "I'm going to take your life. Move again, I swear I'm going to take your life." So you warned the man before you took his life that you're going to take his life. And if you have my arm pinned back, I'm on my back, you just tackled me, you just tased me, I don't know what's going on, I'm a little confused, I asked you a question, what did I do wrong, and I'm still not getting answers, but I'm getting attacked the way I am. If I'm pinned on my back, I may wiggle a little bit, because that's what I saw in the video. I saw him do a little wiggle. Next thing you know, you hear gunshots. You see one officer rolls over, and it looks like he just finished 4 more gunshots. That bothers me. That really bothers me, because there's been so many situations, so many things, so many different accounts where law enforcement is able to diffuse a situation, and that goes to to amplify their proper training, their proper techniques, thinking outside the box, whatever they utilize to diffuse situations. But there are officers in different situations that they are able to diffuse hostile situations, especially when the person is armed. They've been able to diffuse that. I'm trying to understand, how are we not seeing that there may be a systematic problem that we're unable to diffuse the majority of situations, especially when someone is unarmed? Like, how much for your life are you in fear of when the person is not unarmed, but you're more in fear of what you don't know about the person. You don't know what kind of weapon they have. You don't know if they have a weapon. So the fear of what you don't know is what heightens you to make you feel that you are that much, your life is that much in jeopardy that you have to take a life. Now, I've gone to debates about this with numerous people in law enforcement as well. I mean, I have family members who I love dearly, love with all my heart, who are involved in law enforcement. And what I express to them is that the consensus of the majority of the people, the reason why they look at law enforcement in a bad light is because, yes, we do know there are good cops out there. We do know there are genuine cops, genuine officers, genuine people who do what they do because of the love and the passion that they have in their hearts. They are out there to protect, and they are out there to serve. And those cops, I salute you, commend you, and I thank you for what you do. The problem is when you good cops see someone do something wrong who happens to be your fellow blue brothers, all we hear is crickets. We don't hear you guys actually being the first ones to say, hey, what you did was wrong. What you did, you should have done this, or you could have done it this way. Our system may not be showing the right ways to handle these situations. We're not hearing that from you other cops. We're not hearing that from you good cops. So unfortunately, majority of you good cops get put in the same basket with these bad cops. And that's not fair for you. But it's also not fair, just like how a certain police department, or the thought that a police department will have to profile certain groups, or the way that they train, putting, African American faces on targets as you do your, targeting with your weapons. You know what I'm saying? To the training of a situation, if it's not under control, it's not a good situation. So I'm still trying to understand, how does me not being polite to an officer, and not, in other terms, like, kissing up, that's the way I look at it. Because if you and I have a disagreement, we can agree to disagree, but because I don't talk to you in a manner that you feel you want me to, because I'm not as polite as you want me to be, that you now have the right to take my life. The problem I'm having is that these officers are getting so much power involved in their head that it's just like the movie Judge Dredd, where the police now see themselves as the police, the judge, the jury, and the executioners, because that's exactly what's happening. We're condemning people right now on the streets while you're trying to incarcerate them or take them into custody. They're already condemned. You've already made it in your mind that this person, for whatever particular reason, has escalated the situation. I refuse to diffuse it, so now I have to take ultimate control. This person no longer follows my commands. Guess what? I decided to take his life. You were the judge, the jury, the executioner, all in one sitting. Here's the problem. When you're wrong, you're wrong. This is not a race message. It's not about a certain group of people being targeted more than other people's. No. This is a justice message. Wrong is wrong. If you're wrong, you're wrong. With the other situation that took place, the gentleman who was in the car, who followed the law, because the law says when you're pulled over, you're supposed to tell the officers that you have a weapon and that you have your license to carry. Supposedly, from what the video footage is saying, or from what his girlfriend says in the footage, that he did comply with that. And as he reached for the information you asked him for, you shot him 4 times right there, with his daughter in the back seat and his girlfriend right next to him. No thoughts of life of anyone else in that car other than that one gentleman. Now, my thing is, if these cops are to that point to where they feel every time they truly do step out that their life is in danger every single time, then you guys don't need to be cops or pulling people over anymore. Because every single person, you have to do it with every single person. If you're in fear for your life, then little old John Doe, who's 90-something years old, who has the busted taillight, you need to be in fear of your life with him as well, because using a gun does not require a certain age. You know what I'm saying? So if this old man, this old lady, this Asian man, this Hispanic man, this African American man, this white man, or any other person, if you're always in fear for your life, you need to be in fear for your life with everyone, not certain people, because that's what's making the division. That's what's causing people to have an uproar. Now, like I stated before, a few years back, before I changed my life, you would hear me be one of those ones saying, let's go out there. They kill ours, we kill theirs. The life that I used to live. I was one of those people who, I'd be the one who would say, I wish I would. I'd be the one sitting there bragging and hoping that I'll be the next one to get pulled over. Because I promise you, going out with a blaze of glory, because I will make an example. But since I changed my life, everything has to change. So now I know that violence doesn't stop violence. I saw the error of my ways. And for those who are out there now who still may have those emotions, I want you to remember also, there's never been a time where violence stopped violence. So be mindful of what you're deciding to do. Be mindful of your family. Be mindful of the consequences of your actions. Now, there are actions we should take, because the other part of Think About It Thursday that really is bothering me is for all of you now who's out there who are bothered and upset by this. This portion of the message is for you. I need you guys to truly do some action. Because creating all the hashtags in the world won't stop the fact that there's people losing their lives day by day on a regular basis now in the hands of officers. All the marching and talking that we've done so far, still, you're most likely not being listened to. All the discussions we're having on social media, even the discussions we're going to have on this video itself, it's not causing action. So we need to start taking actions. We need to start paying attention to who we put in those places of power. Your chief of polices, your congressmen, your governors, your mayors. Focus on these people. Hold them accountable, because they can't cover up if the people ask for questions. Your district attorney's office. Hold them accountable. We can't keep electing these people who are going to just tell you, hey, yeah, someone did something wrong, but what else can we do? It's like life is imitating art, because there's a lot of movies that don't end well, that are looking like that's what our country is going through. I mean, V for Vendetta. I mean, different movies of the masses revolting and uproaring. It's not good. It's not a good way that we're heading. And if you notice, your political people, Ms. Clinton, Mr. Trump, there's not really too much talk about this, because we don't want to ruffle any feathers. But these are the people we got to hold accountable. The people who have to answer for the actions of those who are wrong. Justice and equality should be for all, not for who it chooses, but for all. If you're wrong, wrong is wrong. If you're guilty, guilty is guilty. There shouldn't be any variables in between making those decisions. There shouldn't be nothing else that implements or confuses or influences any of those decisions. If you are wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, you're right. Not all police killings were in the wrong. Not all police killings are in the right. I'm not saying that. But wrong is wrong, right is right. That's what I focus on. There are different situations that I believe certain people shouldn't even put themselves in the situations that the end result happens to be a police killing, but if they weren't put in that situation, maybe that wouldn't have happened. That's I mean, like I said, right is right, wrong is wrong. But now when it comes to, you have video evidence, you have video equipment that, supposedly gets knocked off during the struggle. But then, luckily for us, 2 other video footages, including the security cams footage, is captured. And from what we saw preliminarily, I saw something very unjustified. I saw you two having control of a situation, and it was very unjustified. The shooting itself, for the gentleman who was shot in the car, who lost his life. I didn't see the evidence of the actual incident. All we saw was the aftermath. But even with what was described in the aftermath, if what the girlfriend describes is the actual factual events that took place, I'm still trying to understand, well, if you ask for his license and registration, if he has to reach into his pocket to get that, how can you shoot him for reaching into his pocket just because he says, I have a weapon, but I'm licensed to carry it? That's what the law says we're supposed to do. If the law is on our side and the law is not for a select few, where's the NRA? Why is the NRA not standing up for that Second Right Amendment that gentleman had to carry his weapon, to be licensed to carry his weapon, and now his life was taken from him by this officer? How come you're not hearing that? But the minute you want to say we want to take guns away from certain other folks, they're nowhere to stand up. You guys got to pay attention. I want you to remember, I have officers in my family, and I pray for them every single day, and I tell them, be careful in this world, because yes, you individuals may be doing what's right and what's good, but the masses may not see that because there's not enough good cops calling out those bad apples. And that can help change everything. If you hold those who are wrong accountable, you have no idea what tensions you will diffuse in this country. You will help diffuse a lot of racial tensions just by holding people accountable. I commit a crime, I should do the time for that crime. My skin should not matter how much time I do. My gender should not matter how much time I do. My religious belief should not matter how much time I do. The fact of the matter is, I did a crime, I got to do that time. So, for those out there on this Think About It Thursday, my discussion point is not just the actual events, but it's actually the aftermath of the events. If we're going to take this serious and we're going to make a stand and we're going to look for changes, we got to hold people accountable. We got to hold our elected officials accountable. You also got to understand these people, there is only two things that they respond to. They respond to the loss of life. They respond to the loss of money. You are their money, and there's a response of loss of life. Right now, we need to respond to the loss of life. I'm not saying to go out there and take matters into your own hands, but we have to do something instead of just all this talk and chatter, because guess what? In a couple of weeks, as it dies down and something else happens, we're going to forget about this. All that anger and passion that we had for this subject is going to go away, and that's the problem that I have. You know, the Trayvon Martin situation, the Gardner situations, all these situations that's happened in the past. Well, look how we've become numb to it and nullified towards it until something new pops up. That's the only time we get excited. If we're going to be upset, stay upset until we get answers, until we get questions, until we get the justice that you feel we deserve. This is Francine for Think About It Thursdays. Salute, comment, share this video if you want to. We can discuss your viewpoints. If you agree with me, disagree with me, hey, no problem. We can discuss it. That's what this is here for. We're here to pick the brains and stimulate the brains. So, this is Francine from another Think About It Thursday. Love y'all. God bless. I do apologize that I'm a little rough. You know, I might do a second episode about Wade, because that hurt too. Wade, it hurt me. But love y'all. God bless. Holla.